Hi there, welcome back. Dory Sukup again here. We are doing now part 2 of module 2, which is the check-in process. Now, I know the call management was long and I am dumping a lot of information on you. I get it, I understand. But here are the facts, you guys. If you don't really treat this as almost like a college course where you're stopping, you're digesting the information, you're doing the homework, you're learning, you're practicing, you're role-playing, then you're not going to get the most out of this. So the best advice I can give you is to truly come up with a training calendar for these modules and assign a certain amount of time for each one to view or to listen to. But then you need to also have time for implementation, for studying and learning. Because if you're just watching the whole thing in one sitting, that's a lot of information. You're going to say, oh my gosh, I've had enough of Dory. Stop already. So I really want you to make sure that you are stopping at each section, doing the homework, and then moving on. So just wanted to give you this bit of advice before we move on to the next part, which is the check-in process. So we already covered the foundation in Module 1. We went into Module 2. We talked about call management. I know that was a heavy amount of information. And now we're moving into the check-in process. The check-in process is actually a lot of fun. And it's very important to the business because now it's that first impression when they first walk in. And you know what they say, you never have a second chance to make a first impression, a good first impression. So we want that first impression to be just so nice and so clean and so organized, and just like walk in, the place smells absolutely amazing and it looks so nice and clean, and you don't have stuff all over the place. So you are really making a good impression. So I really want you to look at your reception area as it's your domain, it's your kingdom. And your kingdom needs to look nice all the time. You cannot be trashy at all. You have to look nice. Your boutique area needs to be nice and organized. Your reception desk needs to be nice and clean without clutter and stuff all over it. Have a real orchid, which is an absolutely beautiful thing that you can do. You can buy an orchid for $15 at Publix or grocery store or Home Depot or wherever. So when you're walking into a place, you have this amazing feeling. Instead of walking in and thinking, ooh, you know, this, I can't believe I'm here. Maybe I should just walk right back out. We have to be ready for the guests. So every morning, you have to go through your quality assurance and make sure that you are ready for business. Your place is organized and absolutely ready for business. And when you do that, you're going to make a great impression. Now, whether they're a brand new person or not, either way, you're going to make a great impression. So just like we did with call management, we had structure for that. Well, we have structure for also the check-in process. We have 6 steps for the check-in process, and I want you to truly adapt that and make it part of your entire check-in system that you have, or structure that you have in your place. So we're going to go over each one. We're going to start with the welcome, how to confirm the type of treatments they are having. We'll go into exploring any upgrade opportunities that you might have. We'll talk about the refreshments and how important it is to look hospitable to your guests. And then how we should handle the intake forms and the process of that. And then how to introduce them to whoever is doing the treatment. That should all take place in the check-in process. And when you follow that structure, you're definitely going to be doing a much better job than just having them come in. Hey, the lady with the red sweater is here. Remember that example? Okay. Let's start with the welcome essentials. The welcome is, again, that nice first impression. And I want you to always stand up. When somebody walks into your house, what do? Are you still sitting in your recliner with your legs up and, hey, come on in? Do you stand up and you greet them, right? That's what you should do. When you walk into the restaurant, is the hostess sitting down? No, she's standing up. And that's what we want to do. You have to show respect. You cannot be sitting down when somebody walks up to you. Respect is important. So I want you to stand up, and I want you to smile, and I want you to say the word welcome. Welcome. Just that word alone means the world. It's so important. So welcome. Then you go to the next step. You need to ask, your name, please. Now, if you already know who they are, you can say, oh, it's so good to see you again, right? But if you don't know who they are, then you say, your name, please. I say, Dory. Yes, Dory, we've been expecting you. Because you should know, it's not rocket science again. If it's 11 o'clock and you have 3-4 people coming in at 11 o'clock, you should know their names. And as soon as they say it, you need to say back, oh yes, we've been expecting you. Now, isn't that nice? Doesn't that make the whole difference? Instead of, oh, you're here for your appointment. No, not at all. So we're expecting you, or we've been expecting you. Upbeat voice, positive energy. And if you're going through the little sanitary checkup that some people are still going through right now, you can tell them what that is to ensure their safety, what you're doing to protect them, and then you offer them a refreshment. Now, that's a good way to greet someone. But instead, right now, here's what I get. I walk into a place, right away, what do? They hand me a piece of paper. Here, fill this out. Imagine this versus this. Where would you want to go back to? I don't want to have a paper thrown at me right away as soon as I walk in. Why do we do that? That's not, you don't, when you walk into a restaurant, do they hand you the menu right away and say, here, what do you want to eat? No, you go sit down, they give you a drink, you have time to look at the menu. It's a little different experience, right? Now, I know we're not selling food, but still, it's the same concept. It's that introduction into what it is that we're trying to do. So once we do this, then we can take them to the transition lounge somewhere, and we can then ask them to fill out the proper paperwork. Or if they've never been there, I want to take them on a tour first, show them the place, and then I take them to the transition. So again, you have to use your head. When you're looking at your appointments for the day, you're going to flag the new people versus the repeat client. And anybody who's new coming for the first time, you have to do different procedures than the ones that have been there before. If I've never been to your place, you should show me around so I feel comfortable. So I know my way around. I know where the restrooms are. I know where the beverages are, or I know where to go for filling out the paperwork. So you're showing me the way. When you do that, excuse me, people feel more comfortable. It would be very nice. So don't forget about the tour. So then we need to confirm the appointment. Now, once we welcome them in, we've been expecting you. I was at a place actually a couple weeks ago. Took my son Charlie, and we went to a spa for facials. Actually, I thought Charlie was getting a massage and I was getting the facial. And we walked up to the reception area, and the person never confirmed the treatment, what we were there for. They threw the forms at us, just like I was describing, and then the esthetician came in and took us to the room. Now, poor Charlie walks into the room. He thought he was getting a massage, and all of a sudden the girl is like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a facial. I'm like, okay, that's what you get when you don't confirm treatments, right? Now, I don't know how that happened, but it did happen. This is the truth. And they just did not show us around, did not get a tour, did not go it was just like, okay, come on in, get a treatment. And that was that. Confirming a treatment is very important, because then we have an opportunity to find out what other treatments they could be having. It's our opportunity to have an upgrade, maybe enhancement or something added to their experience. What treatment are they having? Who will they be with? So if I'm checking somebody in and say, oh, hi, Craig, great to see you. We've been expecting you. I see today that you are reserved for a facial. You're going to absolutely love it, because your facial is going to be conducted by so-and-so esthetician, and she is just absolutely amazing. You're going to love it, right? So you check me in, and then you say, oh, by the way, I noticed last time you were here, you also had this. Let's go ahead and do that again for you, whatever that treatment is. So it's my opportunity. If I see that I have openings in my schedule and I need to fill them with the people that are already coming in, you need to seize again those opportunities. If you don't, once an hour passes by and the treatment room is not occupied, that's money out of our pockets. That should not happen. You need to have apply every effort to fill almost every empty spot for the day. And that's what that daily success planning meeting is all about, that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But you need to look at your schedule, see what's going on, who's coming in, what would be a good complementary treatment to what they are already having, and seize the opportunity. It's simple, you guys. Again, it's just being aware. But if we're not aware and we're just going through the motions, then you're going to get what you've been getting. And we need to be more productive. We need to deliver better experiences. We need to give our clients better results and be able to generate more revenue for the business. And when we do that, everybody really wins again, right? Remember, the win-win-win situation, okay? And then you have to prepare them for the experience. Okay, to get you ready for your facial today, I'm going to take you into the transition lounge. I'm going to have you sit. I would love to give you a beverage. We have a choice of this and that. And then you can sit down, fill out your paperwork, and then so-and-so is going to be with you to do your facial. And voila. Now we have good structure for the whole check-in process. Instead of walking in, throwing paperwork at me, not showing me around, not giving me a beverage, and just taking me right away. That's like going on a date without having a cocktail first or a dinner first, and right away the person wants to give you a kiss when you first meet. Can't do that. There's a romancing process, and the check-in process starts with you romancing them, you impressing them, you making them feel good, and then they go in for their treatment. You see the difference? It does. It makes a big difference. So make sure you confirm the treatment and discover any opportunities that you might have for them to really help them. Now, this third bullet here, if they're late, what do you need to do? What happens right now if somebody is late? Do you just take them in and make everybody else late behind them? Or do you explain the situation and then tell them to either reschedule or know that you only have a certain amount of time to do maybe this particular treatment? So don't be afraid, again, to stand your ground, because if you let people get away with being late all the time, that means they're not respecting your time, they're not respecting your employees, and it makes your whole day get out of control. And you really don't want that. That's why when you do the confirmations, when in the call management part, when we talked about how important it is to tell them with your closing statements what exactly they need to do. And here's the mistake people make right now. They tell you, oh, come in early. No, it's not coming in early. You need to tell them when to come in. Because if you tell me come in early, guess what? I'm not going to come in early. Why would I want to come in early? My appointment is at 11. I'm going to show up at 11. No. So if my treatment begins at 11, then you need to tell me, and you know the whole process takes 15 minutes, then you need to tell me, okay, your appointment is at 10:45. Don't tell me to come early. That's not come on time. 10:45. Your experience begins at 10:45. That's when we start, and count on being here until this time. Now you're doing it the proper way. Makes a big, big difference, right? And then take them and have them fill out whatever you want them to fill out. I already talked about the upgrade opportunity, so make sure that you explore those. Don't be afraid. And if you have certain promotions going on for the month, or you have something new, you can always talk about it and entice them to upgrade into that particular treatment. It could be an enhancement, or it could be an entire full-blown treatment. Again, depends on, the team members that you have, what's on your menu, things like that. I would advise you to do it. Now, being hospitable, offering beverages. You know that statement, way to a man's heart is through his stomach? It works for women too. It's always nice to offer refreshments, you guys. You can't have somebody come in and now everybody's using the, it's because of the viruses or whatever, cleanliness and sanitation, we're not offering any beverages. What kind of baloney is that? Are you kidding me? People are still eating, they're drinking. There are ways to still offer drinks and beverages and snacks without violating any sanitation laws or rules. Come on. You have to be hospitable. You've got to offer them something. And don't do coffee. Coffee is not like a healthy staple drink. You can do teas. You can do iced tea or hot tea depending on the season. I mean, there are so many. You can do these concentrated wellness drinks that you just put a drop in the water and you have a customized drink, the flavor of the month that you can do. There are so many things you can do. Again, we want to be what? Unique, different, classy, hospitable. When we are that, people are going to feel that we care, and they're going to want to come back over and over and over. I used to have a client a long time ago in North Carolina, in a military town, right? Military people make how much? 25,000, 30 maybe, I don't know, like not much. And this day spa, this goes way back then, but I was always so proud of them because of the way we did the experience. They had this kitchen next to their relaxation lounge, and they would do these smoothie drinks. We're talking again, military town. You would think people don't have 2 pennies to rub together, right? No disrespect, by the way, here. Please don't call me back and say, no, military people make money. So I get it. But we're talking, this is way back. And they would do almost $2 million a year from this facility. We're not talking medical spa here. We're talking a day spa, like doing massages, facials, nails. Almost $2 million a year. But you know, their recipe for success was that relaxation lounge that they had and offering these beverages that were so amazing and then giving people nice little snacks. It made the experience. So if you really want to step up your experience, you need to focus on that. It's important. It really makes a big, big difference. Okay, so being prepared. There are forms that you need to have, right, that you're going to give them. Again, we're not giving them the forms when they first walk in. We're giving them the forms after. We checked them in, we confirmed the appointment, we explored any upgrade opportunities, we gave them a tour if they're a brand new client, and then we took them to the transition lounge to give them a beverage, and now we fill out the form. Do you see the difference here, you guys? Seriously, what a difference. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about having a classy experience, not your average, everyday type of experience. And when you do that, your retention rate will just absolutely skyrocket, and so would your referral rate. It works. So have your forms, whichever one. Like if they are a brand new client and they're doing the head to toe, the get to know you consultation, then you have the more in-depth intake form for that, right? And then if they're doing the repeat, then it's this little mini intake form. That's what you want to do. So this one has a front and back, more in depth. And then this one is the little mini for repeat. So you need to know which one you're going to give them. And then you need to say this, whatever other consent forms you need to have. Now, if you have all your consent forms, that's great. If you don't have your consent forms, we have this product that was written by an attorney. It's called Protect Your Business. And it has all the consent forms you could ever want and all types of protocols for your treatments and things like that. So if you don't have consent forms, you need them to protect yourself. And what you should do is have them be part of your initial visit. If they're brand new, I would have them be part of your initial visit and let them sign them. And if they're repeat, and they're doing something they have not done before, then you can also do a consent form. So you definitely need a consent form for testimonials. We're going to talk about those in upcoming modules. You need consent forms for your before and after pictures, and then you need consent form for every procedure that you do. You got to do this. If you don't, you're breaking the law. You have to have consent form or authorization forms, whichever you want to do. So for the testimonials and the before and after, it's a use authorization form. And if you don't have one of those, we'll be happy to email you one, but you definitely need to have them sign it. And I would have them sign it initially, so you don't have to stop and get the form when it comes time for them to give you a testimonial. So you're prepared in advance. All right, yeah, I gave you a script for how to give the forms, and it's all again in how you deliver it. And so our goal is to deliver the best experience possible. Please take a few moments to complete this form so we can learn about you and deliver the results that you are looking for. Thank you so much. Once you complete it, we will, and then you tell them the next step. Once you complete it, I'll introduce you to so-and-so, and she's going to, or he's going to do your treatment. So now we've set up the stage for how we have them help us fill out the forms. So they're sitting, they're having their beverage, maybe a little mini snack, and then they do the forms. Now people tell me, but we're a medical spa. Screw that. What, you can't give me a beverage because you're a medical spa? No, it's all about the experience. All about the experience. And the more you make it fun, enjoyable, and engaging, the better off you're going to be. It's really that simple. So do it. Do it, do it, do it. All right, and then you do your introduction to your teammate, whoever's doing their treatment, right? Do an introduction. Don't let them just walk in. I mean, if time allows it, it's so great. So they finish the paperwork, and then you walk in and you say, Miss Dory, so-and-so is here to do your treatment today. I want to introduce you. And I will see you at the end of your treatment. Enjoy yourself. Have a great time. you've handed the person over, right? It would be wonderful. Now, if time does not allow it, I understand, then the person needs to come in and introduce themselves and then escort them to the treatment room. That's the structure that we really should have for your check-in process. It's simple, it's nice, it's engaging, it's fun. It really does make a difference. So as far as the whole checkup, so make it professional, fun, engaging. I have fun twice because I want to make sure it's fun. Hospitable, helpful, and effortless. It should just happen. Effortless is a great word, by the way, because things are just flowing. And when things flow, it's a beautiful thing. We don't want to force anything, because if it's forceful, you get resistance. If it's flowing, you just go with it. All right, so these are the things that you need to do for the check-in process. Again, I would highly recommend you turn off the recording here, take a quick evaluation of what is your check-in process now like, how close is it to what I described, and taking your facility into consideration and what you have, because I know everybody's place is a little bit different, but just because your place is different doesn't mean that you shut down these ideas, right? You can still do them. Even if your place is small, you can still offer a nice experience. Don't be thinking that, oh, that does not apply to me. It does. It does. You just have to maybe tweak it a little bit to make it your own, and then start practicing it. Get that verbiage down. Get the welcome, the whole greeting, the tour, all that stuff needs to be worked out. So between you and your leadership team, you should sit down and go over all the possibilities, all the improvements that you need to make for your check-in process, so you can make a great impression and increase your revenue and your retention rate. Because when you do the things we talked about, you will definitely do them. All right, so this concludes part 2, which is the check-in process. Next is going to be the checkout process, and that will actually conclude the module 2. So this is a long module, like I told you, but it just has a lot of meat in it, and you should take your time going through it. So go ahead and take a break, do your brain dump, come up with your action plan, let it digest, and then we'll move on to the next part. Until then, stay inspired.